Hello and welcome to Dabbling in Journals, and today I've created my first ever hashtag. I have no clue whether or not anybody else will use it, but I thought it'd be fun to give it a go and see what happens. And it was motivated by the fact that one of my goals this year is to try and do things such that I am no longer quite so solitary at home. And I love coffee, so I thought to myself it would be really fun to spend more time going into the city, trying different coffee shops and doing some journaling while I'm there. So not ever so sociable, but a little bit, a baby step, going out on my own a little bit more. So I thought it would be fun to put together a kit which I can take with me when I'm going to a coffee shop. And I've chosen this little Delphonics pouch, and it's already decorated up, and it just so happens that it has a cup of coffee patch already on it. So I thought, well, that's perfect. Also on here, I've got this lovely little charm that was a gift from Inukshuk, Japan, when I did an order. I've got my little Namado store, Lucky Turtle. I love Namado store. It's a, if you're not familiar with the shop, it is a lovely journal supply shop. I've got a little Scrawler box pin here as well from when I used to subscribe to Scrawler Box, which I'm not at the moment, not because I don't like it, but because I've just got so many pens now. I need to use up some of them before I subscribe back to Scrawler Box. So I'm using this little pouch, and it's also got a Superior Labour tag on it that came with a Superior Labour item that I bought, and I just attached it to the zip pull. Got a couple of clips sat on here. Oh, and I've just noticed there's some bits and pieces of yarn, string, whatever it is, in there too. So what will I want to take with me when I'm going out to a coffee shop? Now, obviously, I will take my journal, and this is my everyday carry journal. It's got my personal journal in it, and it's also got an insert at the moment that I'm using as an illustrated journal. So that would be quite nice to work on if I was in a coffee shop. So I want to take some supplies with me so that I can work in my journal while I'm drinking my coffee. Now, I did think I would also get out my planner in case I need to make a note of anything that I don't have that I think would be useful to have in this kit. So it was funny actually, because I was watching a video by Adventure Denali, and she was setting up a pouch, and she was showing her pouches or something like that, and she was saying about how she likes each one to have its intended purpose, and then it stays with that intended purpose. And I am so very similar. I have a number of different pouches, and they've all got a purpose apart from this one, so I'm going to now give it one. So first things first, I do have a teeny tiny journaling kit, which is like pocket size, but if I'm sat in a coffee shop, it's kind of difficult to find the little bits. I mean, this is handy when I want a really light footprint. I just want to slip that in my coat pocket if I'm out walking with my dogs or something. But if I'm working in a coffee shop, I'd quite like to have this, because I'm thinking it can sit on my desk and I can put the bits in so that I can easily get them in and out. So what will I want to take with me? Well, the first thing that I want to take with me is a set of watercolors, and I've got this little tin which is already filled up with watercolors that have been well used, as you can see. So I thought this would be the perfect size to fit in this little pouch, so I'm going to pop that in, and if I have that, then I'm going to need a rag for cleaning my brush. So I'm going to pop a rag in, and a little spray bottle for cleaning things or for wetting paints or whatever. So I thought I'll pop that in there. And then I have some of these really cool little travel watercolour brushes. So they're the ones that you just swap round like so. And then the brush doesn't get damaged while you're on the go. So I thought they will hopefully fit. Will I be able to get all three? Yeah, I can get those three, and I've even got a little teeny tiny one. I've got this little teeny tiny one. So I'm going to pop that in there as well. And obviously, if I've got brushes and I've got paint, I'm going to need water. And I do have this little pot, which is watertight because it's got a rubber seal on the inside, and it's got a nice wide base. So if I fill that up with water, I'm not going to knock it over, because I can be a bit of a klutz in the coffee shop. So I thought that would be a really nice water container. I don't think that's going to fit in, so I would have to take that as an addition to my pouch. So I would need basically my journal, my pouch and a water pot. Now of course, if you don't want to use water, or I don't want to use water because I'm talking about myself, I can use a water brush. So I thought I'll pop a water brush in, and then if I don't want to take the water pot, I can use that instead. So I'm going to pop that in there, and I think along with that I shall put a waterproof pen. This is a brush pen, a I can't say it, Fudenosuke brush pen in black, and it's waterproof, and because it's a brush pen you can do really thin lines or you can do really fat lines. Let me just demonstrate. So if I was sketching, I could be doing like really thin lines or really thick lines, just all with one pen. So I thought I'll pop one of those in, and along with that, and my favourite mechanical pencil, I've got lots of these and I like them in all my kits, and it's a mechanical pencil in a 0.7 lead because I'm a bit heavy handed, and it has the super duper wind out eraser. So you've got lots of eraser in that pencil, so I'll pop that in. And also another favourite sketching tool of mine is the Mono Zero eraser. This is a really thin one, and I really like that if I'm drawing hair, to pull out highlights, in eyes, to do fur, anything like that. So I'm going to pop one of those, and so that's in my back pocket, which just velcros shut. So that's all my watercolour supplies. I think I would also like to take journaling supplies because I might not want to watercolour. And I've got this little pouch, and in here are the 2 tins that I purchased recently from misopaper.co.uk, and the brand of these tins is LCN Design Studio. And in one of these tins I have all kinds of little paper pieces and frames that I can use in my journal because I like to collage. And in this tin, the black one, it's day and night. I've got more little paper pieces and they're all going everywhere. And that's some Kita washi actually, and labels, and that's little bits of pet tape and all kinds of little bits and pieces that I can use. Oh, there's a girl sticker that I can use in my journal. So I thought they don't take up too much space. So I'm going to pop those just because I don't want them to get scratched, being precious with them. I'm going to pop those in there, and in addition to those, I thought I would just pop in just a couple of small pieces of watercolour paper that I could use if I wanted to do a little painting while I'm in my coffee shop, that I could then later tip into my memory keeping journal. So I thought I'll keep them safe in this little bag too, so that they don't get dog-eared. So I'm going to pop that in here. Now what else might I like? I pulled out just a spare cartridge for my pen. I have the brass Queco Sport fountain pen on my journal, and so a spare cartridge for that, and that's a spare eraser. Not that I'm likely to need it because it's got lots in it, that pencil, but it's a spare eraser for my pencil. And in addition to a spare eraser, it's also useful to have spare leads. So I've got some spare HB leads there. And my last sort of drawing tool would be a pencil stump. So I'm going to pop that and just use that for blending my pencil. I will want a glue stick. So I'm going to stick a glue stick in here, and a little whiteout in case I make a mistake in my journal and I want to use some whiteout. Oh, and I should have said that is actually the Midori brand in extra small. It's really, really tiny. So perfect for on the go. And the glue stick, I think that's just a, I don't know, a generic brand from, oh, it's from The Range. It's a shop in the UK. It's just their own brand, and it's in a nice small size. So I thought that would be a good one to keep in here. And I've also got a spare what do you call it? I've got a spare refill, that's the word. I've got a spare refill for my ballpoint pen. Although I don't have that ballpoint pen in my journal, it is in my wallet, so that would be useful to have with me. And then I thought I would add in some little journaling cards that I can use as tip-ins in my journal. I've already pre-distressed them, and I will be able to sit and decorate them and then tip them in to my journal. So that's something that I thought would be nice to have, and an extra clip. You can't have too many clips. I didn't mention this clip. That's also a page holder clip, which is the, what is the brand of that? They were very popular a while back, so of course I saw them and coveted them and eventually got one, but I forget what they're called. If I can find out what they're called, I'll link it below. And that's just a Tools to Live By binder clip. And then another thing that I thought I might want to do in my journal, as well as sticking in collage elements or bits of ephemera or little bits that I find while I'm out and about, so as well as sticking things in, I might also like to do some stamping. Now, the smallest stamp block I could find in my sort of stash of stuff was this one, which is actually quite big. So I think on my wish list I'm going to add that I would like a small stamp block just to put in this little bag. So I'm just going to add that to my wish list so I don't forget. So I have a wish list in my Hobonichi A6 at the front. But for now, I'll put this big one in. And then I'm getting quite full at this point. I've got my little water pot. Obviously, if I've got a stamp block, I need some stamps. And the perfect ones for taking out and about are these little Moo ones because they're so tiny. So I've got some frames here that I've been using in my journal recently. And I've got some flowers. And they come in this kind of packaging. The brand is Life MU Style, and they're called splice stamps. I don't know why they're called splice stamps, but they are called splice stamps, and I really like them, and I would like to get a few more of these little tiny stamps because they are so portable, and they're just like really nice size for journals, because you don't, if you're a card maker, then you often want bigger stamps, but for journals just little ones are perfect. Now what I do feel like I need is something to keep them in, as well as just putting them in here. I'd quite like a little bag or pouch or something small that I could keep this in. So I'm going to put that on my wish list. Now I don't know whether or not that's something I should make myself or whether it's something I might be able to purchase, but I'll put a small, I've put small stamp pouch and I'll probably look back on that and think, what on earth did I mean? But hopefully I won't forget. So I will want those stamps in my little pouch to go with my stamp block should I decide I want to do some stamping while I'm in the coffee shop. And then of course if I've got stamps I'm going to want ink. So I've pulled out this Versamagic chalk ink because you can stamp anything with this chalk ink. And this one is in the colour Gingerbread, which is one of my favourite colours. So I thought I would pop that in. And I also pulled out a little tiny distress ink pad. And this is in the colour Fired Brick. And that's again one of my favourite colours. So I thought I would pop that in. And then it occurred to me it'd be quite nice to have a black one. And so I don't have a black one in this size. I do have a big one. I've got the great big size of Versamagic black ink, but I don't have one of these little dewdrops. So I might put one of those on my wish list because I think that would be handy for travelling and for going out and about. So I'm going to pop that in there. And I shall write black mini chalk ink in my book. Okay, and then because my decoration on the front is kind of blue, I'm wondering actually if they feel a bit bulky there. I wonder if it'd be better to put them inside. If I put my watercolours that way, yeah, they'll fit, and then I can put my little stamp pads inside like so and zip it up. That's better. And then a couple more things I wanted to add. I have a Scroller Box Blackwing pencil, so they did a collaboration, and so this is a Blackwing pencil, and I quite like this because it's quite dark and it's quite a nice contrast to the HB mechanical pencil that I have. So and it also, it goes with the blue, look, and I love things being matchy I'm so silly. Okay, so I'm going to pop my pencil in there, and you see how if I want to put pens and pencils or my water brushes or in here on my desk or on the table in the coffee shop, I'll be able to stand them up and easily reach them, which would be good. It's a bit long. I need to sharpen it a few more times. Let's just leave it like that. And then the last thing that I want to put in my little pouch is a new item that I have recently purchased because I saw a video by Job's Journal. If you don't watch his channel, it's wonderful, but he is a bit enabling. And I saw these, and these are the tools to live by scissors in a teeny tiny size. I mean, look how small. They are so cute. And I saw them and I was like, I have to have them. I really, really like those. And they're in this lovely brass, and they cut well, and they're teeny tiny, and they look, they fit perfectly there in my little pocket. And so that's all of the things I thought of when I decided I was going to put together a coffee shop kit. If you can think of anything that you would take to a coffee shop if you were going to be journaling or planning on the go, then, or watercolouring or whatever else that you might want to do in a coffee shop with your journals and your planners, then do please pop it in the comments, because it might be something I want to include in my kit too, or other people might be interested to know more ideas of things to put into a mini kit. And can I also, before I go, just apologise, I accidentally turned the comments off on my last video. I just thought it was so weird that I didn't get a single comment, and I felt a little bit sad. So I was telling my son I didn't get any comments on my video and he said, do you think you might have turned the comments off? And I said, well, I don't think so, because I don't know how to do that. And he had a look, and I'd clicked the box saying this video is for kids, and when you do that it turns off the comments. I don't know why I did that. I didn't mean to do that, so my apologies. I didn't intentionally turn off the comments because I didn't want to hear from you. I always love hearing from you, so please do feel free to comment below in response to today's video. Now, if you have been watching my channel for a while, you will know that as well as living journaling and planning and watercolours and all kinds of other art mediums, one of my favourites is coloured pencil. So if I was going to a coffee shop, I would almost certainly want to take a kit like this. But if I felt like doing coloured pencil work, then I would take my pouch of coloured pencils, which is my travel pouch, and I use a Superior Labour pen roll or tool roll, don't know which they call it, but it's the Superior Labour pen roll. Most people use it to keep fountain pens in, but I use mine to keep coloured pencils in. So I've also got a pen and a couple of graphite pencils in here, and I've recently had a sort out because it had got really full and I had far more colours than I need. So I have done a sort out, and I've put some, I've got a couple that I want to replace because they're a bit short for this. They're fine for me to still use on my desk. I either need to replace them or get some handles for them so that I can get them out of here. I didn't think about that when I chose to use this for storing pencils, but the reason that I love it for pencils is because I can turn that round on my desk and I can so easily pull out the colour I want and put it back, pull out the next colour I want and put it back rather than rummaging through a pencil case. So I do really like this. So if I was going to a coffee shop and I wanted to take my little sketchbook and do some colour pencil drawing, then this is what I would take, either in addition to or instead of the pouch that I've just packed up with you, because there's no way that I can get colour pencils as well into a pouch. It's already stuffed. So that is not that minimal, is it really? But they're not that heavy, and if I put those in my rucksack or in my bag, then I could carry those without too much effort, I think. So all that remains is for me to say thank you very much, everybody, for watching, and I hope to see you again really soon. Bye.